Now, silver is a metal more amazing than you first probably think. Now, most of you will probably, definitely come up with its uses as money, or bullion, as a commodity to trade just around its price, but it actually has a lot of uses, so many uses that I actually had to put them up on the screen because I can't remember them all. But I'm just going to bore you now with a whole list of some of these uses that it actually does. It's batteries, fuel cells, electronics, solar panels, solder, automobiles, mirrors, electroplating, medicines, DVDs, CDs, pharmaceuticals, superconductors, photography, in the use of weather, dentistry, x-rays, chemical production, aircon, even in water purification. So many applications for the metal. It's almost an industrial metal by the sound of that list, but it is highly correlated to gold. And as I describe silver to most people, silver is like gold's moody little sister. For most of the time it will follow gold, no problem, like I say, highly correlated, and then it will have a tantrum and storm off in one way that it wants to go. So that means that silver is a bit more volatile than gold, and that's good for us traders because that gives us opportunity. So I'm going to have a look at the price of silver, see where it's been, see where it's going, look at a few other sentiment tools, see where and how you can trade this metal. So with that, let's get on with the analysis. First up, let's jump into some sentiment analysis. Seasonality down the bottom there, bit of a mixed bag really, but as you can see, as we sort of work our way through September, it does get very bearish very quickly, as we can highlight there, and then as you can see, it's a bit of an up and down journey until sort of December time, when the bullish historical price activity kicks in once more, all the way through to sort of March time. And above that we have the commitment of traders data. Really like this sort of stuff to give me a longer term perspective of where the price is going. Now what we want to be seeing here is that the large commercials, they're the users, the professional users of the metal, moving in inverse to the price there up the top, and we want to see the large speculators, they are the professional traders. Well, if they're right, then the price should, their line should be moving in highly correlated movements to the price. And what are we seeing at the moment? Well, I think we are seeing that we've got large commercials on the up, the large speculators on the down, and as you can see, that trend and the price has been down. So bearish from the commitment of traders data and bearish from the seasonality. So heading into a longer term look at the price, and coloured in these yellow zones here as sort of, I think, price hotspots, activity spots, and you can see the first one here around about the 18 1/3 mark, which is at this 38.2% Fibonacci line. You can see a lot of noise, consolidation before trying to bounce on upwards. But if you flip over to the left, 2019 2020, you can see all of that activity there as well, where the price didn't want to get up through until it broke on up. And then we've got these three sub bands where again a lot of price support and resistance in the price action around those levels, and they're at 22, nearly 25, and just over 28. But as you can see, trends currently down, and maybe just a bit of consolidation in there at the moment around that trend. So you're wondering what's at the bottom here? Well, that is the correlation to gold. Remember I said it does behave itself very much like gold, and as you can see, it's 0.53, so it's still highly correlated to gold. It's positive all the way back through the last few years, so it still does follow it, but you can see it's got these swings in there where it decouples from gold, and that's price possible opportunities for us to jump in as volatility spikes and people take silver off on a different direction. Now into the 4-line break chart for some short-term entry points. Setup at the moment is bearish, and we've got one at 19.15 and 18.85. Just let you know I'm using the silver futures front month contract for all this analysis. So there's your potential target numbers for a downside entry, and then onto the daily Heikin-Ashi chart. And our signals at the moment, bit mixed. We got a bullish shorter term DMI, longer term trend negative. Volatility's picking up very nicely in the early 40s now, but volume, slight change, maybe slight increase, but not really anything out of the usual there. And what about price action? Well, similar story, trends down, falling within the 2 pink line box breakout there, so neutral, no signal there. And really it's a bit of a mixed bag, but probably a neutral feel with sort of support of the price around that sort of 17.5 zone, working out where it's going next. So then into the Renko chart for some real short-term price action. Yes, the trend is still being down over the last few months, but what about the indicators? Well, we're bullish DMI, regressions just turning bullish, and stochastics also looking a bit more bullish. We got that support around that low that we saw, 17.5 sort of area, and then the push up in price. If it can continue this momentum, then where could it head next? We've got some overhead resistance just over 21, then up to nearly 23, and then our sort of short-term T3 target around about 24 and a quarter. If it fails from here and wants to move on down, we've got this resistance area just about 19, then into the mid 17s, and then down into the late 15s as potential targets. But again, a pretty sort of neutrally feel at the moment after that rundown in the trend. So where can you trade silver? What if you want to trade the futures or an ETF or spread bet CFDs? Well, let's take a look now. I've jumped into Tiger Brokers to find silver futures. They offer a lot of different contracts, stocks, options across the globe, and these futures. And as you can see up there, futures button, and that gives you a whole list of what to pick from. If we just go to the precious metals, and we've got micro silver futures, silver micro for the more smaller accounts. You've got the minis in there as well. Let's just go to the main one just to show you what it's about. You can see the whole chain available to you there, so you can put some strategies together, which is really, really handy. And the front month one, let's just click on that. There it is, available for you to be playing around with and trading. And if we wanted an ETF, I mentioned an ETF, you can't trade the futures for whatever reason. There's a good one with the ticker SLV, iShares Silver Trust. That's how it's been performing. Let's have a little longer term look at that. Turn it to a weekly chart, and you see it mirrors quite nicely the price analysis that we've been looking at elsewhere. So within Tiger, we can trade the futures long short. We can trade the ETF here, ticker SLV, as well, if we don't want to access the futures market. So what about spread betting and CFDs? So into my spread betting CFD Trade Nation account to see if we can trade silver. We look down on the left hand side, there's metals, scroll down into all metals, and what have we got? Yeah, there we go, silver rolling spot contract, pretty decent spread. Let's have a quick look at the information, see what sort of leverage is standard on here. It's looking like 10 to 1, so you've got some upside there, and a good small minimum trade size for those with a smaller account. So that covers off the spread betting CFDs. We're giving you an ETF and some futures, so silver pretty well covered. So now let's give silver a score rating. So it hasn't been great for silver over the last year or so, but maybe things are cementing a base. Looking at the technical analysis we've covered off here, like I said, the trend is still weak, but some of the variables there looking a bit more positive, so I've just erred on the neutral side, but it was a close run thing between being that and weak bullish. And up in the top right 4-line break chart, some bearish entries if that's your point of view, and those other factors more like fundamentals still holding bearish. And what about price targets? Been quite aggressive with the stops to the upside 4.5 to 1 and 6.6 to 1, and the downside 2.5 and 5.6 to 1. But overall, neutral technical analysis score for silver at the moment. Silver then, fundamentals, sentiment still looks weak, and that trend has been on the downslide since the early part of 21, but there are some shoots of positivity there. Looks like the price could be consolidating at these levels, bit in no man's land, but could be good for a move in the next few months up to as 25 sort of mid 20 zone. So some encouragement there. Now, love to hear your thoughts on where you think the price of silver is heading next. Put in your comments, say, in the below. Love to hear from you. And if you've liked today's video, please give us the thumbs up. Don't forget to hit the subs and bell buttons. And all that's left for me to say is thanks for watching. Good luck with the trading. I'll see you in the next video.